Greetings everyone and welcome to today's discussion about a historic moment for the Sahel region of Africa. I'm thrilled to be talking about an incredible development that has come from three countries that have been rapidly reshaping their futures: Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Just a year after forming the Alliance of Sahel States, they have now taken a huge step toward regional integration by introducing a unified biometric passport. This move is bold, ambitious, and without a doubt a game-changer for the Sahel region and potentially for the entire African continent. Let's begin by reflecting on the journey that brought us here. Only a year ago, these nations were seen as somewhat isolated, each struggling with issues of security, economic instability, and foreign interference. But something truly remarkable has happened since then. Together, they made the momentous decision to exit Ecowas, a decision that shocked many across the continent and beyond. By exiting a long-established institution like Ecowas, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger demonstrated a profound commitment to charting their own path. They wanted to create something new, something truly African and free from the influence of external powers. The formation of the Alliance of Sahel States, commonly referred to as the AES, was not just a symbolic act. It was the start of something much deeper. With this alliance, the leaders of these nations made a clear statement. They would no longer rely on external actors to determine their future. Instead, they would create a structure for regional cooperation that focuses on their own priorities, their own people, and their own resources. And 1 year later, it is safe to say that they have made tremendous strides toward that vision. What has been achieved in just 1 year is nothing short of remarkable. In addition to forming a unified military force to confront the growing threats posed by terrorist groups and organized crime, these three nations have worked hard to strengthen their political and economic ties. But perhaps the most significant step they've taken recently is the introduction of a single unified biometric passport for all citizens of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Think about that for a moment. In the space of just a year, these countries have created a level of integration that many regional blocs have been trying to achieve for decades. The biometric passport, which will be issued to citizens across the three nations, is much more than a simple administrative tool. It is a powerful symbol of unity, cooperation, and a shared future. It's an embodiment of the AES's broader vision to create a Sahel that is independent, prosperous, and secure. Now let's dive deeper into why this passport is so significant. First of all, the introduction of a biometric passport is a major step toward modernizing the administrative systems in these countries. It brings them in line with global standards, making it easier for their citizens to travel, both within the region and beyond. But more than that, this passport will enable greater mobility within the AES itself. Citizens of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger will be able to move freely across borders, facilitating not just travel but also trade, business, and personal connections. This is a huge development for people in the Sahel region, many of whom have faced barriers to movement and economic participation. By eliminating the need for visas or other travel restrictions between these countries, the AES is creating new opportunities for economic collaboration and growth. Small businesses, entrepreneurs, and traders will benefit immensely from this newfound freedom of movement. For the average citizen, it means easier access to job markets, educational opportunities, and healthcare services across the three countries. Furthermore, the biometric passport initiative reflects a broader trend in the Sahel, a focus on self-reliance and regional cooperation. For far too long, African nations have been overly dependent on foreign aid, foreign currencies, and foreign institutions. What the AES is doing is nothing less than revolutionary. They are working together to reduce their reliance on these external forces and to build something that works for them, something that is truly African. The idea of a unified passport is not new. In fact, Ecowas has been talking about it for decades, but despite 49 years of existence, Ecowas has not been able to implement such a system. This is why the move by Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger is so important. It shows that when African nations take the initiative and work together with determination, they can achieve in a short time what others have struggled to do for decades. Recently, during the first anniversary of the Alliance of Sahel States, Mali's President Assimi Goita spoke passionately about the significance of this new biometric passport and the broader goals of the AES. He emphasized how this new initiative is part of the Alliance's larger plan to integrate their economies, improve security, and promote the welfare of their people. It was a speech filled with optimism and determination, and it highlighted just how serious these leaders are about transforming their region. President Goita's speech was not just about the passport, it was about the future of the Sahel and the broader vision of the AES. He spoke about the victories their military forces have achieved on the ground, particularly in the fight against terrorism. This is another area where the alliance has made great progress. By working together, the defense forces of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have been able to push back against terrorist groups that had long threatened the security of their nations. In doing so, they have demonstrated that they are capable of defending their sovereignty without relying on external powers. One of the key takeaways from President Goita's speech was the idea that this new alliance is not just about state cooperation, it's about people. The biometric passport, the shared security strategies, and the plans for economic integration all serve a greater purpose to improve the lives of the people in these countries. This is a point that cannot be overstated. What the AES is doing is fundamentally about empowering its citizens and giving them the tools they need to thrive in a rapidly changing world. The introduction of the biometric passport is part of a larger strategy to create a more integrated and self-sufficient Sahel. In addition to facilitating travel and trade, the AES is also working on creating a common currency that will further reduce their dependence on foreign financial systems. This is a critical step toward achieving true economic sovereignty. If successful, this currency will enable these nations to have greater control over their own economies, making them less vulnerable to the fluctuations of global markets or the whims of foreign financial institutions. But the AES's ambitions don't stop there. They are also planning to establish an investment bank and a stabilization fund that will support development projects across the region. These institutions will provide the capital needed to build critical infrastructure, improve access to education and healthcare, and create new job opportunities for the people of the Sahel. The leaders of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are not just talking about development, they are putting in place the mechanisms needed to make it a reality. It's also important to highlight the role of women and youth in this new vision for the Sahel. President Goita and his counterparts have made it clear that they see women and young people as the engines of growth in their societies. By investing in education, job training, and entrepreneurship, the AES is ensuring that the next generation will have the skills and opportunities they need to succeed. This is crucial because for too long, the potential of Africa's youth has been underutilized. The AES is changing that by creating an environment where young people can thrive and contribute to the development of their countries. Now, let's take a moment to consider the broader implications of these developments. The AES is showing the rest of Africa and the world that real progress can be made when nations work together on their own terms. For decades, Africa has been seen as a continent reliant on foreign aid and external support. What the AES is doing is proving that this doesn't have to be the case. By focusing on regional cooperation and self-reliance, they are creating a new model for development in Africa, one that is driven by African nations for African people. This shift is already being felt across the continent. Other nations are watching closely to see how the AES evolves, and there are already signs that some may want to join this growing alliance. Countries like Guinea, Chad, and Togo have expressed interest in collaborating with the AES, and it's not hard to see why. The success of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger in building a unified military force, creating a biometric passport, and working toward economic integration is inspiring others to think about how they can achieve similar goals. But of course, there are challenges ahead. The road to full integration is not without obstacles. Terrorism remains a persistent threat, and there will undoubtedly be resistance from those who do not want to see the Sahel succeed on its own terms. But the leaders of the AES have shown that they are not afraid to take bold actions in the face of adversity. They are committed to pushing forward, no matter the challenges, because they understand that the future of their nations and the future of Africa depends on it. In closing, it's clear that the introduction of the biometric passport by Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger is a watershed moment for the Sahel and for Africa as a whole. This new initiative is not just about travel or security, it's about creating a more integrated, prosperous, and independent future for the people of these countries. It's about taking control of their destinies and building a future that works for them. Thank you for staying with me through this in-depth exploration of the Alliance of Sahel States and their remarkable achievements over the past year. Please share your thoughts and comments on what you've heard today. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others who are interested in the future of Africa and the transformative changes happening in the Sahel. Together, we will continue to follow the progress of this incredible alliance and witness the exciting developments to come.